years, our family's had a share of health problems.
So prescriptions are a part of our life.
Before, we went to the big box store.
We both thought it would help us save. But with the long lines and impersonal service, filling prescriptions became a chore. That's when a friend recommended D&H.
Now Tristan knows our prescriptions. Brenda always helps us find the right vitamins. And after Dad's fall, Monica's been a real expert with all our home medical needs, all without the lines.
Trust and service.
That's our D&H.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, December the 10th. We're about 14 days away from Christmas Eve, and well, we've got Christmas to talk about today. The Salvation Army. I want to introduce you to Major Richard Trimmell and Major Beth Trimmell. It's a pleasure to have both of you here.
Good to be
dynamic
here.
duo at the Salvation Army of Columbia. This is really a very, very busy time of the year and a very important time of the year for both of you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
This is the important fundraising time where you get the message out to people. But the point is, I think a lot of people don't think about or don't realize that even though you're out on the streets from Thanksgiving to Christmas Eve trying to collect money, ringing those bells, you're helping folks 365 days of the year,
right? Well,
not just at Christmas time.
Right. This is our major fundraiser of the year, and of course we do use the funds that we raise to finance all of the programs in the Salvation Army for the year here in Columbia. So it's important for us to be able to keep funding Harbor House and the youth programs and all of those kinds of things that we do. So this is our major effort for the year.
Mm-hmm. And your goal this year is
$415,000.
That's a lot of money. What was it last year?
Well, last year it was about 402, and I believe we made 412.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you went over
we went
last
over
year.
a little
All right.
bit.
Hope and this year the goal is 415.
415.
I hope that you will raise 430,000.
Well, that would be great, and a lot of the funding sources are changing for running shelters. The government has new priorities, and so it's all that much more important as some of these funding sources that we've used for years through federal, state, and city grants are not going to be available any longer. So
now this $415,000 that you're trying to raise at Christmas time, this isn't the entire budget for the whole year, is it?
No.
No, you couldn't survive on that.
No, our thrift stores, well, actually, our Christmas effort raises about a third. Our thrift stores raise about a third, and then the rest of it is support throughout the rest of the year. So this represents about a third of our budget.
Major Beth, what do you have to add to this?
It's really important that we continue to provide the services we do. We have a pantry, and people come to us every week looking for food to help them supplement their nutrition and to have anything to eat for some of our folks. And so having food, having shelter for folks who have no place to stay is critical and vital to sustaining life.
Now, the Harbor House, is it running full almost all the time?
It varies throughout the year, but especially in the winter. And we run what we call a cold cot program. So in the winter, when all the beds our regular beds are full.
And does that happen very often?
In the winter it does, yes. So we will put cots in our extra rooms, even in the hallway, and we call it a cold cot program. And people can come in and spend the night, even though they don't have a room, because our effort and everything we're trying to do is get people in out of the cold. So in the winter months in particular, we use every nook and cranny of that building to get people in out of the cold.
The important thing to remember is so many of these people, and we've talked about it before, so many of these people are not in that situation because they want to be in that situation or because they were lazy. Many times people end up in that situation through no fault of their own.
Right.
And then once you're down, it takes a big effort to dig yourself back up again.
And they say most people are, one paycheck away from, just being in a disastrous situation. And life throws monkey wrenches into everything. And so, it can happen to anybody. And we say, but for the grace of God, I mean, any of us could end up, if a couple little things go wrong, we could end up in a situation where
you
we
end
need
up
help.
with a serious illness. and all at once you're out of money.
Right.
And when the money stops, a lot of other things stop too.
Absolutely.
So if you are one of the blessed ones, one of the fortunate ones, consider helping others who are less fortunate. And one way to do that is helping the Salvation Army. Because you do so many good things in this community, and you work so hard with your heart and soul to make your job a success.
Right.
And I think there are many things that we don't realize that is being done by the Salvation Army.
Right.
Oh, yeah. One of the things we do is we have new household goods for people who have been homeless and don't have anything. When they're able to finally get jobs and transportation and get their ducks in a row, a lot of times they don't have anything. So they move into an apartment, and 6 months later, they're struggling as hard as they can, and they don't even have a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
So with this program, we provide new household goods for them, so that when they move in, they have pillows, and they have bedspreads and towels and the basic necessities, so that they can
That you need just to
yes,
set up household.
Exactly. We do that, and then the Women's Auxiliary also has a fund, so that if someone has worked really hard and they are almost ready to move out, but they have a bill or they need rent or a deposit, then they can help them with that last bit, so that they don't have to stay another extra 3 or 4 months in the shelter to get that little bit of money together.
Wonderful.
And so they get the money from, and so the concert that we have in the spring,
Yeah.
the auxiliary concert, that provides money for that, and has been just a blessing to people who have worked so
this
hard.
is providing money for people who are ready to leave the shelter, but they need just a little extra help.
If they're stuck, they're just stuck with one thing keeping them at the shelter, then we can help with that, and it makes all the difference.
Okay. We're almost out of time, but the important message that we want to get across, when you see the Salvation Army bell ringers out there, they're standing out sometimes in really inclement weather. Drop some cash in, or better yet, send a check to the Salvation Army. You were telling me before we came on, in Minneapolis, somebody dropped a
$500,000 check.
Somebody dropped a $500,000 check in one of the bell ringers' kettles.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if that happened here? Maybe somebody listening to us, you've got a whole lot of extra cash, you could help out the Salvation Army, just write that check and drop it in one of the kettles. That would be very nice.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming by. The bell ringers will be out on the street until Christmas Eve, right?
Right.
Salvation Army, and if people want to make a donation, can they do it online?
Yes, it's tsacentralmissouri.org.
Okay, all right. Majors, thank you so much for coming by. It's a pleasure having you
Always
here.
good to
Thank
see
you
you.
for
Thank
everything
you.
that you do for the community. Tomorrow, our Missouri's first poet laureate, Walter Bargan, will be with us. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute, audio Pat Akers, KBIA, our floor director, Kevin Casson, and our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser.